How are you doing, bud?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
You know, living life, keeping myself busy, doing the thing.
Awesome. Happy to hear it.
Okay, cool. So quick recap: you play Snake, right?
Yep.
Do you play any other characters?
I also have Bowser, and I've been trying to learn Roy as well.
Oh, you're really spreading yourself out there. Okay. What region
Yeah,
are you from again?
Bowser. I'm sorry.
What region are you from again?
Chicago.
Yes. Okay, cool. I was mixing up with somebody else for a second. Okay, cool. And then this is our first lesson, right?
Correct.
Cool. So, quick couple questions before we jump into too much. So, what made you want to get coaching?
I
then,
have been
real quick, to start the game so the
plateauing.
room doesn't die. Sorry, go ahead one more time.
I've been plateauing with my results. I've been playing competitively now for about 2 years, and I've never really broken out of the 2-2 to 4-2 range in bracket.
Okay.
So even with like Ultimate, I decided right before the game came out, I'm gonna main Snake because I'm assuming he's gonna be a high tier.
Good choice.
Yeah, it kind of fits what I want to play.
Cool.
In general. So I was hoping results would be better once Ultimate came out, and they were, and then they proceeded to get worse again, back to 2-2.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're not PR, but you're like you've almost gotten PR. You've beaten a couple people PR, but you're like struggling to get that consistency to keep getting better, and that's where you're getting stuck. Is like you've reached, like you said, that plateau is where you're stuck right now. Okay. And outside of just improvement, do you have any specific goals that you're looking to achieve within this game or through coaching, etc.?
So goals for me, I want to be able to play Snake in a sort of flashier style. That's something when at the exhibition against Raven King, you kind of brought up that I don't exert pressure the way that most Snakes would. But I'm also trying to get out of the campy Snake style that I started with.
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
So more so like I try to copy a lot of the stuff that like Havoc does, for example.
I actually haven't watched a lot of Havoc, to be honest with you. Where's Havoc from again?
He's SoCal, I believe. I've never like talked to him or interacted or anything.
Yeah.
But I see his clips on Twitter.
I think I've seen them before. Okay, yeah, I think I know who you're talking about from Twitter. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. So you're trying to find that like balance of like the flashy but good, right?
Yes.
Like you're trying to find that middle.
Not just a clip fiend. I want to be able to actually win neutral and then pull off the cool combo.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So we got that. Interesting. And then of the things outside of like when we talked or a while ago during the stuff on my stream last time, are there any things that like you specifically know that you struggle with right now that are like primarily like you feel like you don't understand?
I think a good portion of it is like I'm really solid at like reviewing VODs. I think I notate and do notes better than most other players at my level would. But it's the adaptation in game that I feel I struggle with, as well as generally like I think that kind of ties in with like zoning characters tend to give me more struggle than they should.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Give me an example of like a character that you struggle with right now.
King Dedede for some reason.
What about King Dedede do you feel like you struggle against?
I think what ends up happening is I want to try to go in, I don't go in, and then when I start camping, I end up also just not doing that. I unfortunately don't have any good odds to
showcase that, yeah.
for DDD either, so that's not been helpful.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I want to play a game or two with DD, and I want to see what you're doing and try to understand like where you're kind of struggling, and then we can kind of build from there. Okay.
Okay.
And if at any point you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem.
Choose your fighter. King TDD. Ready? Three.
I also think a good portion of the DDD situation, every major I've played in, I've been blocked from getting out of pools from a DDD.
Oh, it's just a mental thing too. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
Even in Smash 4, I almost made it to top 64, but I got blocked by, I'm trying to remember the tag, but it was a gentleman.
Got it.
That's technical, yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do one more game, but I'm gonna give you one thing that I want you to keep in mind.
Okay.
And you don't know how to hit me, and there's more than a minute and a half on the clock, don't worry about it. Just focus on observing and trying to not get hit by me instead. Don't be afraid of your dash attack either, okay?
Okay.
Dash attack will be really useful in this matchup, specifically at higher percents, because it sets up for an easy off stage, where I cannot deal with that. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does DDD have the option to suck Nikita though?
No,
spit it
it's
out.
not needed.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, let's test it. I actually don't know the answer to that question. I've never thought about that. Go ahead and shoot it. Okay, cool. That's good to know. But that's also like a really
I
laggy
dropped
option.
Nikita, so let's see if
Yeah.
I keep control of it.
Okay, yeah,
if
yeah.
that works.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So, the big thing with that is that it's quite laggy. So, you still get,
Okay.
like, you'd set up and do your whole
I
thing,
can
right?
shoot out a second
Yeah,
one.
and like if I'm like down here, like I'm not gonna be able to do that. Because you can also fake me out and not let me eat it, and then I just have to let go myself,
Okay.
right? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Alright, go to the other side of the stage. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Keep popping that C4 early to
Just let it sit there.
bounce that.
Let it
I
exist.
keep trying to bounce Gordo back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, honestly, don't even worry about it.
Okay.
And don't forget, you always have dash. Dash attack is your friend. Move beats everything. Good bait. There you go. See, remember what I said? Try to not get hit by me. I want you to play to not get hit, to find hits, instead of worrying about how to interact with me. Think about how do I not interact with you. That's where you're gonna thrive, because it's harder for me to hit you than it is for you to hit me, right?
Yep.
That's what you want to use to your advantage. I died. Nice. There you go. Good. This is the idea. What you were doing wrong, and this is very silly, and this is a very common thing that Snake players do wrong, bro, you gotta just be Snake sometimes. You have the capability of playing a character who invalidates characters and the things that they want to do. And rather than playing DDD's game, you can just be Snake and make DDD have to play Snake's game. You get to set rules because of grenade, because of Nikita, because of up smash, because of dash attack, where they are in it like unavoidable, inevitable interactions that every person will have with you at least once. And then you get the icing on top with grab and up tilt and F tilt and blah 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 the rest. That makes sense.
Okay.
And that's what I want you to keep in mind, is like having that confidence and knowing that like I can just be Snake. And so
Choose your fighter.
let me switch my controllers real quick. Is that you do have a bit of a problem with doing things in succession. You act in what's called button sequences, where you do things like predetermined, like I do A, then B, then C, then D, and like you get ahead. And so you're doing like step 4, but you're not realizing that step 1 didn't work, right? So when, like for example, when you're ledge trapping, like I want you to do less. You realize by the end of that game, like, oh hey, up smash is really good, and like I know that you know up smash is really good at the ledge, right? Just up smash. You don't have to do more. More leaves more margin for error. And I know you want to get the flashy stuff, and you want to do that. But if you want to do the flashy stuff, you have to create a foundation first to understand why and where it works and how to create the situations instead of just hoping it works. That makes sense.
Okay. So I need to get the conditioning before I try to go for like the
Exactly.
cover roll
You don't
and
need to.
up
You don't
smash.
need to guess. Like that's what we have to get you away from, is like the idea of guessing. Which skin are you playing, by the way?
I play default.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I don't pick the same one. So there's that. Now, the way I play Snake is very different from the way that you play Snake, and I want you to see that there is so much variety to how you can use your tools and creativity, rather than just like doing the rotation that you do right now. That makes sense. So I want you to acknowledge like how different you play.
1, go!
Oops, I forgot. I thought my C4 was on the ground, not on the platform. But you see how, like, drastically different? There's one big thing that I did that game that set a precedent. Do you know what that was?
I'll
If
be honest,
not,
I
you
don't.
can say it. It's okay if you don't know, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did not throw grenade first in neutral. And do you know what that does?
It is essentially you're reacting to what I'm doing, making me make the first move.
Yes. And so the whole idea is the only time I would ever throw grenade is when you were already busy doing something else or in a disadvantageous situation where it then puts you under pressure. That makes sense.
Okay.
What it does is it sets a like pace for the game that no matter what, you're dealing with grenade. And it's very similar to the way that characters like Pikachu use Thunder Jolt or like Fire Arrow or Boomerang and stuff like that, where it's like, here's this thing that's coming towards me. I need to choose to interact with it or not interact with it. And there's a lot of different ways that can still play out because there isn't a blanket answer, this is what I do. And the big thing I would do to make that harder for you is I would use my grenades to beat your grenades so that you couldn't just zone around. You couldn't lay grenades down because you'd end up getting yourself caught up and mixed up, and then you'd forget where my C4 is, and I'd blow you up your C4. And that was primarily how I killed you. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's really the idea. Is so what's happening, and like this is like a really, really great way to get this like skill check essentially, is you're overwhelming yourself by doing too much, and you're thinking too much about what you're doing instead of thinking about what I'm doing. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so there would be those times, where we'd stand there, and you press a button, I'll just dash tag you, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that if you press any button that isn't shield, you get dash tagged. That's the magic of dash tag. And I want you to think about it in those simplistic kind of ways. I want you to be able to take the game and make it in these little tiny pockets of like, these things just work because of these reasons, right?
Yeah.
So for example, the way that you zone and interact with characters or the opposing idea, not interact. And that little tip that I gave you, see how much more valuable that is when you're playing with the intent of trying to not get hit by me. Because it doesn't matter how you hit me. Because I don't know if you heard me saying it in any previous lessons to the percent game. Do you know what that is?
Yes, so that's the situation of I need to know what I'm doing at low percents, mid percents, and kill percents.
Right? And the best part about Snake is that you technically have a kill throw. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, down throw at 160.
Bingo. That's
or
exactly, yeah.
down throw F tilt on X
Sure.
amount of characters, 128,
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
Exactly, right? So you have those little, like, here are just blanket answers. But then the best part is, you're a heavy. So your moves, they just kill, bro. And then you always have Nikita.
Like 85.
Yeah, exactly. You have so many amazing, amazing options for finding these kills that you don't have to worry about this. So you don't need to worry about how you hit somebody. Because you have like 7 or 8 minutes on the clock to figure that out. You don't need to rush. And so one of the bad habits you have right now is you'll be a neutral. And you'll be like, I don't really know what to do. And then you just jump in there with a grenade in your hand. And I will say there are a few players that are decent at this game that struggle with this because it's very easy to just jump and they catch people trying to challenge them and they trade with the nade and they get the combo and blah, 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 right? So there's a lot of reward for this. But what I want you to do is be more comfortable doing things with less risk. Because you lean too hard on the risk to try to do all the crazy over-the-top stuff, which is that like flash here, when you can just sit here and go, okay, and do this. And it can be that easy, and you want the game to be that easy, because once it's easy, then you can do the flashy stuff, because then you go, oh, I get what this guy's doing now. I'm in his head. That makes sense?
Yeah.
You gotta be able
I'll
to do the easy
sometimes
before you do
implement that in like longer sets where I was in a tournament 2 days ago, and I was able to get a set win, game 3, jumping, empty hopping in his face 3 times, and then throwing out an up tilt.
Love it. That's the flex, dude. I love that. And like that's the kind of thing I want you to be comfortable finding those opportunities and stuff like that, because I see that you understand these concepts, but you're too busy doing, this
Pressing my button.
and this and doing this, and then by the time this happens, you just get hit, or you hit yourself, and that doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
So don't do it. Like that's the reality. Is like the problem that almost every Snake player has is that they literally do too much. You don't need to do so much. You need to flex privilege. That is what Snake does at the core of his gameplay, is that he's a character that makes you play his game. No matter what, grenade is a problem. It's frame 1, bro. Deal with it, right? You have that. Then you have things like up tilt, which are like, this is a godly anti-air. It'll kill you. Don't mess with it. I can do it while crouching. I can crawl and do it. Blah, blah, blah. Then you got dash attack. Frame 5, frame 6, whatever. Invincible dash attack. That's nuts. That's like Palutena kind of stuff, right? And it goes... Look at how far this move goes. Stand on the other side of that Pokeball.
Okay.
That's nuts. And I'm doing dash attack. That's my full burst range. And you can't react to that. That is borderline unreactable. Unless you're like super anticipating it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so you have things like that that you can abuse, not as a gimmick, but it's your strengths. And you're not playing to your strengths. You're trying to gimmick by doing too much to overwhelm them. But the funny part is if I just stop, you overwhelm yourself. That's the flaw in your play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is less. Because you notice the times where you would just stop and be like, wait a minute, I'm just gonna Nikita you. You would win a lot of those interactions.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No, not really at this point.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Let me go ahead and run on. And then we'll do another game. And what I want you to do is this base game plan of playing to not get hit, to find hits, and not trying to do 100. You can throw one grenade safely and see what I do about it, and then decide what to do from there. You don't need to do more. You notice one of the things I would do is like lay down a C4, see what you're doing, not coming, then throw a grenade, see what you're doing, then decide what to do from there, then throw another grenade. The problem, and this is like this is like the Snake habit, right? Pull nade, throw nade. Pull nade, throw nade right away.
Yeah.
Punishing the first
I
nade's
noticed-
hard. Punishing the easy nade is, or the second nade is easy. That makes sense.
I noticed my normal go-to in beginning a game is I'll Z-catch grenade and then run with it.
Yeah.
Just to try to get an opening, force an opening.
Yeah,
If
just
they
throw the
end
nade,
up,
bro.
like sitting in shield, I'll Z-drop it in front of them.
Yeah.
Cross them up.
Yeah, all you gotta do, man, is just lob the nade. And, like, you can feel out, does this guy pick up nades? Is he good at tracking the timers? Your grenade is a skill check. You can beat people. I have beaten people in bracket across the entire, like, United States of America and Canada with grenade, dash attack, and Nikita. That's it. You can do that to people in those early rounds where people don't understand, because that's a skill check. Do they know how to deal with grenade? Yes or no? Do they know how to deal with dash attack? Yes or no? Do they know how to deal with Nikita? Or can their character even deal with it? Yes or no? There is a time, and I always love telling this to people, where it's like, there's a way that you have to play sometimes so that you are playing to your character's strengths. A great example would be like Snake versus Luigi. Because when Luigi touches you, you die as Snake, right?
Yeah.
But how the hell does Luigi hit Snake? If you get hit as Snake by Luigi, it is your fault, right?
Yep.
So what you need to do is play to that strength of knowing, oh, hey, he is sweating. When he gets it, cool, he gets it, he's got to calm me, blah, 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 blah. But he's got to get it. So I need to make it as hard as possible for him to get it, right? Yeah. So I had this bracket set like months ago. I was playing this kid. He's pretty good. He's really good at his Luigi combos. But every time I got him off stage, I could kill him with Nikita, no matter the percent. Because he had a bad habit of side B'ing to recover. Yep. So, stock one, we're camping, taking our time. He kills me, and I go, oh, I'm tired of camping. I run at him, I try to fight him, I get 0 death again, immediately. I'm now at a 3 stock to 1 deficit. I camp him super hard, I find 1 stock at a time, and I win the game. And game 2, guess what? I did the exact same thing. Where I started, I lost the first stock, I got impatient, and then accepted the circumstances, and then won, because I played to my character's strengths and acknowledged the context of the situation. That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah.
As silly as it sounds, Snake is busted. You have to play him like he's busted, but you have to be smart about it still. Because you have to be conservative in how you abuse these things, and not just like run at somebody, because it's not what your character does. That makes sense?
Okay.
You want to be like the bad word. You want to be annoying. You want to be obnoxious. You want to be
That was the first 6 months of my Ultimate career.
Yeah.
Was more so that, which is why I was performing better, I guess.
I want you like you have to find the confidence in being okay with doing that, because when you do that, that's what enables the cool stuff. And like
Okay.
that's my ultimate problem. I'll be so real with you, man. I never hit cool combos. It's a problem. It's hard. I get so fixated on doing the easy things where I'm like, I could just sit here and up smash forever. It's great. But
Mhm.
I could also do all this cool stuff sometimes. And as you get more confident, that gets easier. But you have to do that first part first, or you're just getting lucky, man. And it doesn't feel good to get lucky. Be like, I'm never gonna do that again. And that never doesn't feel good. You want to be like, that was so sick. I can't wait to do that to my next opponent.
Yep,
Right?
okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, not currently.
Cool. All right, let's play another game.
Donkey Kong.
And we'll go from there. All right, my friend?
All right, sounds good.
Ready? Three, two, one, go!
Oh, I got that.
It would have blown up in your hand regardless.
I thought you had picked it up.
Oh, I see, yeah. That one I did think I picked up too. Oh, I didn't know that. Thought I parried it. Nice. Good. And you were ready for that too. That was good. And you see, like, all you did was put down one grenade and see what happened. It can be that simple. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I also think I probably pulled grenade a bit too much.
I just want you to drift away from me. That's it. Okay? And then look at me and decide what to do from there. So it's okay to just drift and tumble. Okay?
Okay.
Because you can do anything in a tumble, but fast forward. Oh. Ooh, just a little short. Good. And you see this, right? Like, you see how hard I'm having to work to hit you? And like, yeah, this game's a little close right now because I've had my opportunities. But I'm still working 4 times harder than you are right now.
Yep.
And that's what you need to do. You need to embrace that and like literally make people be like, I know that you have to sweat to interact with me, so I'm gonna make you sweat. You're not like, you have to not jump into me. You have to not run at me when you don't know what to do. You have to,
You have
just
to earn
spend
the right
time.
to hit me.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Because you are a character that gets to decide that. And so that's like, for example, like within disadvantage, the same thing. If you just drift and then you see someone come in, you get to wave bounce, you get to air dodge, you get to pull nade and trade it. You decide that. But if you pull nade early, you don't get a decision anymore. They get to try play around it. That makes sense? Because now you're
Yep.
stuck.
Okay.
Especially out of like up B, or if you have no jump. That makes sense? Because once you pull nade, you lose options to do anything. And that's another common mistake as well. Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I know that's my main bad snake habit, I believe. Is I pull nade disadvantage almost every single time.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to work myself out of that.
What I want you to do, are you playing GameCube controller?
No, pro controller.
What button do you press for special?
I do the regular B button
Okay. You have your finger like laying on the B button always, right?
for the most part.
I
Yeah.
want you to lift your finger up like an inch, right?
Okay.
So if you want to press the B button, your brain has to think about it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's a great way to like break a habit like that. Same with like air dodging. If you like take your finger and you lift it up, that whole idea, it's so little that like minute extra inch. But when you have your finger just laying on a controller, it's so easy to just be like, wee, wipe my thumb across the buttons, right?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
little extra bit genuinely does help because you have to think about it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not currently.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead
Captain Falcon.
and try this character. And we'll into the game and go from there, okay? I just want you to
Okay.
keep trying to work at this, and it's okay to do nothing. That's the big thing. If you don't know what to do, you're not comfortable, and you're not sure if it's safe, you could try and feel it out, or you could do nothing and observe, okay?
This is actually my favorite matchup
Good. That's a good one to have.
because it's so volatile. One way or
It's
the other.
disgusting. I love it.
3, 2, 1, go!
That's all.
That was supposed to be an F.
You see there, it's like you double jump and then pull nade. You have no options anymore.
Okay.
And that's what you gotta get away from. You wanna keep options. Always focus on keeping options. You don't need to jump into me. It doesn't accomplish anything for you if you jump into me with nade, because I can just grab you. And you see that I've been grabbing you this game. There's no reason to do that, right? There you go. Oops. Yeah, see, every time you do that, you get hit. I want you to just get away from me. Don't panic and do something because you don't know what to do. Just look at me and drift away from me. That's it. Because moving more isn't better than moving with explicit, like, purpose. Yes. See, there, you could have just shot Keto. You're doing too much.
Okay.
There we go. Good. Good. That's what I want you to do, man. Like, you can just sit and do that over and over and over because it's working. that's the kind of way I want you to play. Don't just do things because you're like, oh, this is like smart or anything. Dude, if you see me doing something, take advantage of it. Just do it. Don't worry about like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, he's trying to just do this. I can just shoot Nikita. Sure. Do that. He's gonna try to run at me. I'm just gonna dash that. Sure. Do that. Like that's how I want you to think of the game. And realizing, wait, I could just do this. This is easy. That makes sense?
Okay. It's similar to, I believe it's Bruce Lee's theory of to master something, it's to be able to do it effectively with the least amount of effort.
Exactly. You are 100% correct. That is the philosophy. You're the first person to ever get that right.
Okay.
Because nobody else ever pointed that out. Congratulations after like 1,200 people. I love that. That makes me happy. But yeah, you see the way you fight Falcon Man? I want you to have the confidence to fight everybody like that. And obviously, it's not as easy to invalidate every other character. But all the ones who can invalidate, bro, that's like 80% of the cast.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And I want you to think about it like that. Rather than being like, ooh, this is rough. It's, why do I think this is rough? You have to normalize the things that characters can do in the game and understand what you can and can't do instead of just trying to do what you want. Make sense?
I do, as a player, I'm a very meticulous, like, note taker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a Evernote app. I have at least a page on notes for almost every single character in the game. I think where my issue tends to be is trying to remember it while playing.
Here, I'm going to give you an awesome trick. Ready for this?
Yep.
I got homework for you, bud, and you're going to hate it, okay? All 80 of those pages, I want you to turn each character into no more than 5 bullet points.
Okay.
Okay? Because there is no human way you're going to remember all 80 of those pages. It's impossible. And you don't have time between like 3 minutes of a set to read a page of notes. 5 bullet points. What you need to know, what you need to not do, like the do's, the don'ts, the unique things that character does to you, like let's say like inkling, up throw, up air percents, blah blah blah, stuff like that, right? That's the kind of stuff that you want to keep in mind, as well as if you know like, hey, this thing I'm really bad at dealing with, I need to be mindful of this, whatever that is, put that there too. Whatever things you feel that are important to you and help you remember how to play a matchup and like how that character functions, put that in those 5 bullet points. Okay?
I'd actually already been trying to work on that one.
Good.
Like, example, another problem matchup for me for a while was Samus.
Mm-hmm.
And the VOD that I had sent you when we were thinking about possibly doing VOD review.
Yes.
You'll actually notice in the VOD, I tell myself verbally to stop jumping.
That's good.
Which is normally my issue in that matchup.
Yeah.
Samus tends to punish Snake for jumping
Yep.
very well.
That makes perfect sense. Awesome. Yeah, I definitely want you to work on that because, like you said, you just can't remember that, man. It's not how the human brain works. You know, our hard drive is like 25 megs, bro. We have think about all the meaningless things you remember, and you're like, why do I know that?
Yeah, I still have Bowser Koopa percents memorized.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no reason for your brain to have that, but it stores it anyway. And that's the kind of thing, man. That's just like you just gotta take your time one at a time and build that confidence and like minimizing that and being like, do I feel like these help me? And like the big thing is right now, it's like a lot of times you're not losing inherently because of matchups, but more decisions you make as a player that are then heavily impacted by the toolkits of XYZ characters. That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So the characters that are really good at punishing you for trying to do too much would be other zoners, which is the trend I'm seeing here. The ones who can invalidate grenade, like a fully charged charge shot. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Or like a Gordo bouncing into you when you're pressing too many grenades, right? It's the same idea. And like that's the thing where you're getting overwhelmed because, like I said, it's like you're just doing too much. The big thing to take from today is try to achieve what you want with the least amount of effort. How do I do this in the simplest form? And if that means you play that guy round 1 and you dash attack, and then Nikita the whole game, let's fucking go, dude. That's the best feeling when you can beat someone doing like the simplest form of stuff. Because like that's also a really important thing too, is like you don't need to play at 200% every set. You can play at 60% sometimes and beat people. Because you're good enough with your character that if they're not good at fighting your character, easy. And you can do that. Because that's what your character does to people, is that it's a natural deterrent because so many things your character does are skill checks. That makes sense? So they kind of circle this all around to what we've been talking about. And you want to have confidence in that. That takes time. But what we have to get you away from is you have to stop looking at yourself and you have to look at me. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, even to this day, I'm pretty bad about that because I'm a pretty self-conscious kind of guy. So what you got to do is, and I can tell because you're a big note taker, you kind of got that similar brain where you're a little too hard on yourself. You just play the game. When you mess up, you mess up, and you just go with it. Like, you have to go with the flow of the game. Don't try to get ahead. Don't worry too much about the past. Play in the moment. The game will always tell you what you can and can't do in the moment. That makes sense?
Yeah, that's actually why I'll say like okay to myself when a situation happens that's not favorable. I don't say like, oh, expletive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, I feel you. But yeah, that's really the big thing, man. It's like I want you to like be okay with just being like, just go with the flow. And it's like kind of hippie, but like that's what you got to do with the game, and that's what you got to do with Snake. Is like sometimes you're gonna get hit, and you're gonna take 60, but you know what, man? If you don't die after they get you in disadvantage, they messed up, and you're gonna take it back. Make sense?
Yep.
And that's how you want to play Snake, because that's his strength. Is get hit, focus on trying your best, gosh darn best to not die, and then go from there. Okay. All right.
If I wall well enough out, I'm just not really gonna lose neutral often.
Yeah, yeah. And the whole idea is it's not about going faster, but it's doing it in the way that you're observing. Makes sense?
Okay.
All right. Let's do one more game, and then we will finish up there. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
And then did you sign up for the single session or the?
Yeah, I've done a single.
Okay.
I was probably gonna try to sign up for another one. I just needed to figure out work.
Yes.
So.
No worries. As a heads up, you can always sign up, and then you're able to reschedule up to an hour before. So if something happens, you can always switch to another available time if needed. If
Okay,
your schedule
perfect.
changes, you just go to the email confirmation lets you do that.
Okay. Thank you.
3, 2, 1, go!
Look at that. Look how sick your dash back is. Didn't that feel good?
It combos into itself.
Yeah. Didn't that feel good, man? To be like, wow, I just didn't have to care about what button you pressed. No matter what button you pressed, you got hit, as long as it wasn't a defensive button. And then even then, I couldn't have punished you. That's the best part. There you go. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's 2 for 2. You got that.
I think the Samus matchup is where I started doing recatch grenade kind of thing. Just because grenade stops a full charge shot,
Yep.
but it's not always easy to just lob a grenade and hit it.
Yeah.
Until our coach, where I feel like you have more option to, like, it's easier to hit it when it's in your hand instead of in the PC.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I knew you wanted to land on that platform. Everybody always does.
I normally don't. I thought it was gonna be a thing.
Look at that. Nice. Just like you were talking about. Oh, I went this way. I lost track. I got mixed up there. That was funny. Good old Dundee. Yeah, see there, had you not pulled that nade, you could have hit me. You're just doing one too many things. I want you to do one thing at a time. One thing.
I pulled that grenade because I was expecting a charge shot and wanted to.
Yeah. But you could always just shield instead. Yeah, see there, you don't have to go and initiate. You're building this percent, you're doing great. You don't have to go in to try to end the game. You have 2.5 minutes still. Take your time. Look at that, you're already at the magic percent. You see how easy that was?
Yep.
There you go, you got it, bam. And all you do is just be patient, patient, patient. You spend all that time just feeling it out, and you never got hit.
Mission accomplished.
So just play like that all the time.
Yeah, you that's the base. If you see that someone is really scared of you, you can be aggressive. It's all about the context, right? But you can't just like force how you want to play. The way you play is always dictated by the way your opponent plays. That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's all about making decisions based on what you see. Make sense?
Got it.
All right, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, so aside from the other homework I gave you before with compressing your notes on your characters, I want you to take notes on this lesson and send me those notes on like a Google Doc, okay?
Sounds good.
Alrighty, man. I will talk to you later. Have a good night.
You as well. Thank you.